Blast me to Bermuda! It's time for the Mad Merlins unboxing of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Delivery 15. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Mad Merlins unboxing. So today it's delivery day for the Imperium subscription. So that means we'll have a brand new set of Imperium Journey videos coming soon. And today we're going to empty out the box, open up each issue, quickly go through each issue, have a quick look at our sprues, paints, and other new tools that we might get. And then we'll bring everything in for my final thoughts. So, without further ado, let's tip out and see what we got. Smash. Just like that. So we've got issue 56 with 2 paints, which is good because a lot of people were reporting that this paint was missing, so it's nice that I've actually got both. Issue 55, which includes a set of pipes. Issue 58, which is a heavy issue. We have a new deck Wraith. And we also have our 4th and final game mat. And we also have 57, which was this week's issue, which is our 2nd Tomb Blade. And this one is built up with the Tesla carbines, but you can feel free to build as you want. So, that's what we're dealing with. So let's start going through the issues, and as always, we'll start at the beginning with issue 55. So we'll bring in issue 55 here. Rip her open and see what we got. So we build and paint our terrain, we read about the Iron Hands, and we have stratagems for our Adeptus Mechanicus units. And the issue comes with 4 models, which is the pipes here. And this is the frame, just the same as we had in the first issue, which I think was in the early 30s. I think 37, late 30s then, 37 I think it was. But it's nice that we have our 2nd set, and we can use 2 full sets on our game board. As I already have 2 full sets painted, built up as the magazine shows, I'm going to be using these in a little bit of a different way. Stay tuned for issue 55's episode, which should be coming up hopefully this weekend. I'll have a quick flick through issue 55. So we've got the Electia Battle Zone Mechanicus powering the defences. So this is another playthrough this mission 3 times, or 4 times in this case, and record who is the victor for each of those. We got a bit of information about the Iron Hands, the Ecclesiarchy. We build our pipes. So like I said, this shows you one way of doing it. There are multiple ways of doing it. This is a really good versatile kit. And then we're painting it much the same as we did before. So all over silver, Retributor armor on the ribbed pipes, Runelord brass on the vents and the solid pipes and nameplates. Agrax Earthshade over the Runelord brass and the whole model, apparently. Then with the painting Corn Red on the small wires, the batteries and the fuel cells on the console. Macragge Blue on all the plasma cabling. Nuln Oil washed over the Macragge Blue and Corn Red areas. Then relayer, so go back to your previous issue as well. So yeah, I was right, issue 37. Relayer the fuel set, the plasma areas with Macragge Blue after the black wash, just so it refocuses the light highlights to the top layers. Then we're highlighting with Fiston Red over all the Corn Red details previously. Dry brushing the silver and gold details and bronze with Stormhost Silver. And then we've got some weathering, so we're going to glaze over with Mornfang Brown. And then Troll Slayer Orange, so we're going to be thinning our paint down quite a lot. And then applying some nice rust effects to our pipes. That's pretty cool. Definitely going to go back and do that. And then we got a quick guide on painting the skulls there as well. And that should be our finished pipes. So then we've got our Mechanicum stratagems there. Initiate mission pack, secondary objectives, so an expansion page to initiate pack, so that's cool. And then we have the Generatorum mission, putting the Sisters and the Tech Scutari against a pretty sizable force of Necrons. And we are using both mats now, so that's pretty cool with the full printed terrain there. Okay, next up, issue 56. So here's 56. Let's rip her open. And bada bing, bada boom. So this is our paint issue for the delivery. And the paints we get is Administratum Grey, which is a nice light grey for highlighting all our blacks. And Balor Brown, so this is going to be used to highlight a lot of our leathers. I'll try not to spend too much time over the paint guide in this one, but there is going to be some nice paint guides. So in this we get Warzone Damnos, we learn about the Officio Assassinorum, and we have new play sections. So let's take a quick flick through issue 56. So we got Miraculous Axe, a background page for Adeptus Sororitas. So from what I can gather from watching other reviews, this allows you to swap out miracle dice and take a specific action depending on weapon you're using, etc. For morale tests and also for saves as well. So if you discard, I think you discard the dice equaling that value, then depending on the unit, it makes a save, etc. So moving on to our next Warzone, we've got Warzone Damnos. So this was a system in the Ultramar Segmentum, where a Necron Tomb World, one of the earlier Necron Tomb Worlds, rose up, took over the planet Damnos, and it took a considerable amount of Primaris reinforcements to retake Damnos in the end of the Indomitus Crusade. So you see here we've got the Iron Hounds, Liberators, and the Brazen Consoles, which are all Primaris exclusive chapters. So yeah, then we got the Endless Legions. So apparently it's the Zarakan dynasty, but I remember it being the Celtic dynasty back in the old days. So I'm not too sure what's going on there. And we also got a call to arms. So the White Scars and Salamanders helped retake the planet. Looks like it. That's pretty cool. We got the Officio Assassinorum, so a background report about the different orders of the Assassinorum. So we've got the four main different temples. So they've got the Calidus, the Aversa, the Calexis, and the Vindicare. There are quite a few more, especially during the days of the Horus Heresy. There's some nice new models coming out soon for those. The Blood Ritual, so a short story featuring blood cultists facing off against a assassin. That's pretty cool. That'll be a nice short story to read. Bit more background for the Sororitas. So this is the Wars of Faith. I need to zoom out a bit more. There. This just explains how the wars the Sororitas are most commonly involved in go. So the symbol of ecclesiarchy is the eye, and in the center of the eye, well, near the center of the eye, is a skull with a thorned halo, which is the symbol of the ecclesiarchy. Ooh, excuse me. And then we're moving on to the orders minoris. So I've got quite a few different orders there. So if you haven't decided what you're painting your models as, these might be some handy helpful ideas on what to do. I would have personally gone for Order of the Golden Light, and then started collecting a Custodes army and a Sisters of Silence army, and have just all gold. And maybe do a gold Space Marine chapter as well. Alright, so moving on to this issue's paint guide. So we are doing a lot of highlights, and we are learning how to paint camouflage patterns. So that's pretty cool. If you haven't already done it, I already have. Painting camouflage patterns on our Phobos Librarian there, so it's pretty cool. We're using Mechanica Standard Grey and Administratum Grey. that's looking pretty good. So we're already also layering up the robes with Dawnstone just to help reaffirm that level of grey. Then we're going on with the darker and the lighter greys afterwards in triangular patterns, looks like it. So that's pretty cool. Moving on, we got highlights, so highlighting all the brown leather details. So this is mainly on the Librarian, but it's also on all the Primaris models. They got all the belts and scabbards and stuff. So we got the Lieutenant here as an example. Excuse me. So yeah, just highlighting all the Mornfang brown areas with Baylor brown. That's pretty cool. And we can do that as well to all our other models, which you'll see in a bit. So the Sisters of Battle, we are finally highlighting not just the armor, but all the other details. So we're using Administratum Grey to highlight all the Battle Sisters armor. So that's different to what I thought it was going to be. So that's pretty cool though. So I do like that we're going to have different tone of black armor compared to, say, the Chaos Space Marines in a premium kit. But that is really cool. So we're not only highlighting the black, we're highlighting all the white details. And that does include the hair. So our finished models will start looking like that for that. So we apply these to the Canoness, the Battle Sisters, the Repentia Superior, and the Seraphim. And then we are highlighting all the leather areas with Baylor Brown. Moving on to the Necrons, we're highlighting areas that we've previously highlighted with Dawnstone with an extreme highlight of Administratum Grey. And we've got quite a lot of details to pick out. And then finally, we're looking to finally put some more detail to our terrain, so we're highlighting the black and the white areas of the Heliotrope reactor with an edge highlight of Administratum Grey and a layering of Administratum Grey on the actual white areas. So that's going to be pretty cool. Then we got the Chain of Command mission. So we actually have a choice of army lists, and well, not choice of army lists, but a choice of HQs. So you can choose to either go Royal Warden or the Technomancer there, with 10 warriors, 5 immortals, 3 scarabs, a Canoptic spider, and 5 fade ones. Then the Space Marines, you can either choose a lieutenant or a librarian with 3 squads of assault intercessors, 2 with 5, 1 with 3, and then the 3 aggressors. And again, we are using that double mat. They have, I think, just copied and pasted the picture from the last time they had a similar deployment zones. And they still got the crates here, so these should be replaced via pipes by now. And there we have it. Okay, on to issue 57. So here we have issue 57. So, this is our second of 3 Tomb Blades. And it is exactly the same frame as what we had previously. So not a lot different, but we still have some nice extra components on there. And we are equipping each of these Tomb Blades slightly differently. But you can feel free to equip them however you want, as you have rules for all the optional equipments in books. Then we also have our flying stand. And we've got a fold-out section here. And we also read all about Saint Celestine. There she is, all golden and flamey. We also have the building and paint guide updating for the Tomb Blade, and we have a section all about choosing our armor lists. So let's take a quick flick through that now. Okay, so here's issue 57. So we start off with all about Saint Celestine. Bit of background on her, what she's been doing recently. She was key in the revival of Abute Gilliman. So she's often died and been reborn over and over again. She's the divine champion imbued with the power of the Emperor. Some say that she is the Emperor incarnate. Next we got the War Zones Tifosa, which is part of the Vigiler system. And it's one of the nearby worlds with Vigilers, so it sent some Space Marine chapters over to take care of it. Notable Space Marine chapters are the Fire Lords with their bright red, orange and yellow, and the Mantis Warriors with their green and yellow shoulder pads there. That's pretty cool. Moving on, we got all about the Deathwatch chapter of Space Marines. So Deathwatch are the Xenos Hunters. If you remember my conversion guide, I used a Deathwatch shoulder pad on one of my Assault Intercessor Sergeants. So the icon of the watch is an inquisitorial eye with a skull and crossbones on. Deathwatch is a special chapter, as each of their members is drawn from many different chapters. They have a nice picture there of various different chapter shoulder pads of those that have made a tithe with the Deathwatch. The Crimson Fists are well-known orc hunters and are often seeked out by the alien hunters to swell their ranks. Moving on, we've got a bit more information for the Battle Sisters. So this is the non-militant orders. So the Orders Hospitaller, the Orders Dialogus. Then we got the Orders Famulus and the Orders Pronatus. All different rankings of sisters, from the Chamberlains all the way up to those that write all the heroic deeds and record records and such. So we got a build guide for our Tombblade here. So it's going to be pretty much the same up until the last few steps where we are choosing different weapon loadouts. So we are using the Tesla carbines in this particular version. We've got the veins on the front there instead of the rear. Then we've got the nebuloscope going in there. And then we have the expanded arm plates as well. So painting it, hopefully there's going to be some different bits to it. So we are painting Runelord Brass, Abaddon Black, Lead Belcher, Corax White, Canoptic Alloy, Cryptic Armor Shade Gloss, Nolan Oil, and Reichland Flesh Shade. Then we are edge highlighting, so we've got Dawnstone, Stormhost Silver, and Administration Grey. And we are also going back to our Necron Warriors, adding some extra highlights to them, and we're also basing them as well, if we haven't already. So that's pretty cool. That is our finished models there, just an example of what we have got. And then we have Forcing the Breach, so we have another tutorial about how to choose. So this time we have the choice of 3 HQ units to pick from, and then we have one of 2 different army lists. So that's pretty cool. Oh, okay, so yeah, okay, you get all of those HQs apparently, according to this. And then you get to choose one of the 2 army lists, and you got to think about the mission objectives and what your opponent's army is as well. So that's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, forces in play: Royal Warden, Scorpion Lord, Plasmancer, and army list 1 or 2, and then Canoness, Tech Priest Dominus, Tech Priest Engineer, and the Eva army list 1 or 2. And we have another battle where we got 4 objectives we are fighting over for control. And then finally we got a fold out. So this is all about the Lectia. So this is the battles of the previous few issues. So we got the Eyes of the Triarch there with the Royal Court and the Triarch Stalker. All the various different battle zones on Lectia, the actual globe itself. And on the back we got the Adeptus Sororitas forces there as well. So that's that. Moving on then to our final issue, issue 58. So here we have issue 58, and as I said, this is a heavy issue because we have our 4th and final big game match. So here we have our Wraith. So this is a different to our previous one. This is the one that's more risen up there, with its tail simply curled around onto its base. That's pretty cool. But yeah, the construction of this guy would be much the same as the previous one. You have the options of either the whip coils there, the particle caster, or the transdimensional beamer. Personally, I'm going to be going with my usual method of leaving the weapons interchangeable and just going with the clawed arms and saying that they are whip coils but retracted, if I choose to use them. So in this issue we get the Black Templars, we build and paint the Wraith, and we have a new narrative mission. And we have our game mat, so we'll take a look at that afterwards, because I need to zoom out. So here is our issue. So issue 58. So we got heroic origins for our Space Marines here. So we've got a couple of examples here. So Moneus Calgar, Uriel Ventress, and even Cato Sicarius are some of the greatest Ultramarine characters. Heroes of the Ultramarine chapter even. And all begun service as raw initiates. So we've got a D3 table here for our captain of where he came from, as well as our lieutenant, librarian, and our lieutenant in Phobos armor as well. That's cool. Adding more and more details to our characters. So we got a background blurb about the Black Templars, the Eternal Crusaders. Morven Val, the Abbas Sanctorum, the head of the Adeptus Sororitas. And that is it. Excuse me, need a drink there. So moving on to building our Canoptek Wraith. So first part is going to be much the same as the previous one. You've got specific sections that go together to form the main torso there. Then we got our tail coiling up there. Like I said, this one is going to be more upright than the previous one. You got your weapon option. You can, if you want to, have it angled out to the side if you choose to pose your Wraith in a cool position, which is pretty cool. And these smaller claws, you can either leave the pegs on or cut them off and pose them however you wish. And the larger claws, you will want to keep the pegs on, but you can leave them posable, which is pretty cool. Then we have options, so we've got different guns. And have they corrected themselves? Yes, they have. They're showing the transdimensional beamer there and the particle caster there, so the different option here. And you have the option there of the whip coils instead of the vicious blades. And again, we got 3 head options, which is pretty cool. So we've got a large eye with 2 small eyes, again, a medium-sized eye and 2 smaller eyes, or a medium-sized eye and 3 eyes. I think I'll go for that one myself. Plenty of eyes to see the enemy and kill. So, Canoptek Wraith, we are painting him black 3 coats, picking out all the arm plates of Rune of Brass, the metal areas of Lead Belcher, the upper plates and the face of Canoptek Alloy, picking out all the orbs with Coax White, shading the armour with Cryptek Armour Shade Gloss, Light and Flesh Shade on the Canoptek Alloy areas, non-oil on all the Lead Belcher details. Then we are edge highlighting everything metal with Stormhost Silver. Before applying basing detail, so Astrogranite, non-oil wash and Dawnstone dry brush. Then we are dry brushing, so get your first Wraith. We're going to be dry brushing all the black details with Dawnstone before shading over and dulling it down with non-oil. And then we are picking out everything with a fine edge highlight there of a diminished Drarsman Grey. So that's going to be picking out some nice detail on this guy. Then we're all going back to our little scarabs. So we are painting Cryptek Armour Shade Gloss over the Canoptek scarabs. The words escape me. Carapace, there we go. Then edge highlighting Stormhost Silver, painting the legs with Dawnstone before Astrogranite over the base, washing on non-oil and dry brushing with Dawnstone. And there is our 2 finished Wraiths, so the one from the previous issue and our new one there. So, conflict in the crypts. So we have Armor 1 or Armor 2. So an Overlord, Chronomancer, 10 Warriors, 5 Mortals and 2 Wraiths, or Scorpic Lord, Royal Warden, 5 Blade Ones, 3 Scarabs, 3 Destroyers and a Plasma Sight. And the Imperium has either a captain, lieutenant, 2 squads of 5 assault intercessors, and 3 aggressors, or pretty much all the battle sister stuff. So that's pretty cool. And there we have our battle deployment there. And ooh, I thought we'd see this. So let's zoom in a bit. We have what is coming in our final few Imperium issues. So for the Necrons, we've got Death Marks, Lich Guard, Locust Heavy Destroyer, and the 2E Command Barge there. For the Space Marines, we still have quite a lot to go. So we get Maneus Calgar and his Victrix Guard, a Phobos Lieutenant there, 10 Infiltrators, 3 Eliminators, 3 Suppressors, Firestrike Turret, the Invader ATV, and to crown off the collection, Vabute Gilliman himself. And that is how all our mats should look. So this is our latest issue, issue 58. So I'm guessing at some point we'll be having some really big battles. So that'd be pretty cool, can't wait for those. And let's have a quick flick at what's in the next 2 issues. So 59 and 60, we get our Outriders, and that closes off this set of 20 issues. And after that, we'll be getting all of this. So starting from issues 61 to 80. There we go. So I will just zoom out. We'll have a look at the game mat itself, and then I'll bring everything in for my final thoughts. So here we have our battle mat for the final few issues. So we can see from this, looks like we're going to be building a second reactor with the pipe attached to the back of it. That would be pretty cool. Then we are just placing all our ruins in a pretty city ruined city or manufactorum district sort of setup. So that's going to be pretty nice. We got a deployment zone over here for the Imperium, and the Necrons over here. And as we can see, the planet is actually cracking to pieces, and the lava is starting to come up. So I don't know what the planet's going to be, but I'm guessing it's going to be some sort of lava moon which harvests energy. And as we flip over, there is our final section for our big battle mat. So we got more hab block ruins and footprints for our buildings, and we've got a nice long piece of road there. So this will match up nicely to all the other ones and give us the complete moon base callus map that was available quite a few years ago now. But all in all, I think it's going to look pretty cool once we get everything together for our really big battles. And I can't wait to bring you them. So, let's bring everything in then for my final thoughts on Delivery 15. So there we have Delivery 15 of Imperium, and I think it's a pretty good delivery. Very Necron heavy with 2 new models to add to our Necron collection. Some really nice paint guides. We are now getting into the later stages of the collection, so the paint guides are getting really detailed. And for those beginning, this will really start helping you to up your paint game. Even I will learn a few tricks from it, and I consider myself a pretty good painter. The terrain, like I said, is probably the weak point. I've got plenty of these pipes already, but I have found uses for these pipes. So I'll be showing you those off in issue 55's video review. So that will be coming up possibly tomorrow, if not Sunday, I would have thought. But I'll definitely try and get it up at the weekend sometime. But yeah, all in all, I think a solid delivery. I would give it a good 6 out of 10 probably for what we get. We do, as I said, get some great paint guides, we get some nice new Necron models, and the paint is so-so. So yeah, there we have it. And we are looking forward to some really good issues coming up with issues 61 to 80, and we are bringing our journey to a close. So we are pretty much on the home stretch. Because after this we are getting the bikes, a couple of paints, and I think it's another Wraith or Toonblade. I think it's something Necron-y anyway. But yeah, we have some good issues to come. So, all that's left for me to do is to say thank you all for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to stay up to date for more if you'd like to stay tuned for more Mad content, please also subscribe to the channel. As I've previously mentioned, starting from issue 55's video review, I will be giving a question of the video at the start of each video for you to post a reply in the comments and hopefully get this channel noticed a little bit more. But this has been Merlin, and this is the Imperium Delivery 15 review and unboxing. I think the heat in this room is starting to get to me because I'm losing my focus and brain power. Draining, need chocolate. Anyway, goodbye, and I will see you all next time for more Mad content. Toodles!